Okay, and let's get our video out there. Hello. Okay, give me a second, guys. I'm just going through some stuff here and posting it up. Okay. And we got one more page to post, and then that's it. Dang, there's a lot of people on there. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get this started. All right, so welcome everybody. Today we're going to be unboxing the Sovol Filament dryer. We're going to be checking that out. And then this big bad boy is going to be the Sovol SV03. This is Sovol's answer basically to the Creality CR10. So let's get into it. This thing. All right. So, grab some fuel here. Good old gummy bears. Probably paid for. All right. Let's check out the filament dryer first. By the way, hi people of TikTok. throw that out. Filament dryer, manual. Yeah, as I drip. On off button, function, up button. Okay. For temperatures. So we'll take a look at that. Twelve volts at 4 amps. It's going to be our power supply for that. Take that out. This thing is just going to come right out. That's it. That's all we got for that, right? By the way, for you guys that are in TikTok land, we are streaming on the Akuma Mods YouTube channel. So if you want to hit up that and do some chatting on there, we'll have some people there. But yeah, all right. So there is some wear and tear on the top here during shipping. That's to be expected, you know, coming all the way from China and getting brushed up here and there. Comparing it to the Sunlu version of this, well, obviously, you know, this is a 2-roll holder, and the Sunlu one is the comparison for it. So they're about the same height. The Sunlu is definitely longer, for sure. Comparing it, here's that and that. So as you guys can see, it's maybe about an inch longer, but I don't think that's really going to matter, because really where it's going to matter is, does it hold a roll? So that's really going to be the important thing. So let's take that and test it out and see how it goes. I should have grabbed some spools. Actually, I think I have some. Ready to rock and roll right here. Yes, I do. This one's actually kind of a chunkier one. Fits in there nicely. It rolls very nice. I do see that there is a fan in here as well. That's one thing that the Sunlu does not have. Not exactly 100% sure if that's going to help or not, but we'll see about that. I wish it told you how many viewers. Sorry, if you see me looking up, or to the left at least, it's because I have my phone that you guys might be able to see. Excuse me, I have my phone right here that TikTok is live on right now too. Yes, TikTok. Hopefully this will reach, because I need to set up some new stuff for this thing. Ooh, I think we're just gonna reach. It does lock very nicely. Don't see any light on there. Oh, there we go. Okay. Here. So our temperature is going to be 40 to 50 degrees for PLA and wood. 45 to 50 for PETG, TPU, PVA, and ABS and polycarbonate is going to be 50. So right now it's at 19 degrees Celsius at 50% humidity, which that's kind of cool. It's actually got a built-in humidity thing, unlike the Sunlu one. So that's kind of nice that it's got that. So it only lets you go up to 50. Pretty simple, straightforward. And it only lets you go up to probably 12 hours, I think it is. So we do hear the fan kick on. We're gonna test this out for a little bit. We're gonna just let that run. But I can tell you already, I just smelled something like we're definitely going to put this in here too. All right. So we're going to let that sit. Pretty straightforward setup. Excuse me. Jeez. I don't know if you guys in TikTok land saw that at least, but basically it's a little filament dryer from Sunlu. Right there. It's a dual filament one. So let's do live chat. Okay. I hope chat is working, because yes, it is. Okay. Cool. All right, just making sure. Well, let's get the printer unboxed here and get this all set up. Fun times now. Fun times of waiting. Okay. Got some top packing. Our user manual that's set up right on top. A little Sovol Inspire Your Imagination. Basically, our user manual. Our LCD screen. This uses the 12864 screen. This is still the old style with the encoder, not touch or anything fancy like that. Gram about, probably. I'm guessing 200 grams of filament. That's that in a little bit. We'll remove some more packaging. And then we have our big boy. Okay, is this all attached? It does. Maneuver this somehow and get it all out in one piece if I can't do it one-handed. We have our upright, that's one whole piece. This does set this down somewhere for now. And then that remains to be seen, but we'll answer, which I'm guessing that's what this is. This wire's for. That's usually what it is. And yeah, we'll get this thing set up here in a second. Should be fairly straightforward. Again, this does come with a pretty hefty glass bed. This is the perforated style glass beds. I'm not a big fan of these. I know Creality has switched over to like a newer material one that is a little bit better, but I still don't trust them. And just with Creality's track record of warped beds, I'm not gonna hold my breath on it. So we'll see if this is warped or anything like that, because like I said, basically Sovol is Creality in a way. They just kind of upgrade some things here and there to make it a little bit better. So alright, let's put these on. Put this in the center here. I'm guessing that's where that one goes because I only have 3. We'll put this one here. And we'll put this one here. All right. Now, unfortunately, because of my table orientation, this is probably going to have to stay at this end because I think it's not going to be stable enough to go this way. Could be wrong. Let's see. I don't know. We might be able to get away with it. Okay. I think we'll be all right. Okay, so again, this has got just a regular encoder on it. So, sorry, but I think your audio out. No, definitely not. I checked it. It should be on. Let me just double check here in a sec. No, definitely not. Yep, I checked. It's on. Audio's on. Anyway, let's see. The SV03 is a great machine, but the cable of the hotbed will break eventually. Bed large cable short if you are not preventing it. Based on 15 plus case reported on the Sovol group. Okay, good to know. Thanks for the tip on that. Just checking TikTok. Yeah, it looks like nothing's really happening on there. I kind of figured. First time going live on TikTok, by the way, so if anybody's on there. All right, so we have a box. I'm guessing this is going to be our parts box, obviously. I'm going to open this all up and take it all out. So we have our standard USB. Ooh, this is actually mini USB. Usually it's USB-A that's on there. Ooh, a nice scraper. I can always use one of those. I have one that is my go-to scraper from my last Sovol. So they do have a replacement BL Touch probe, and they also have a replacement nozzle. This is one of the major things that, you know, with the newer versions of BL Touch, they tend to break the probes. So in my opinion, why even have it? It's one of the reasons I like proximity probes a little bit better, but I'm a little biased to that because I used to work for TH3D Studio, and that's pretty much what they're known for, is their easy ABL probes. So, all right, so we'll get to that in a second. We have our power cord, which we're not going to use because we already got one pre-set up. Looks like a frame brace, maybe something else. Our standard cheap Creality Chinese, USB drives that'll probably fail on the first or second run. We do have a filament runout sensor, so this is an interesting one, and I'll show it on TikTok as well. But you can see there's kind of like 2 metal guides, which is kind of nice. Because that leads directly into the filament path if you guys can't see it. So, and I'll show you guys here. So it's kind of nice, and the filament just runs right down there and goes right in. So, or actually it would go down, sorry. So that's kind of nice that it does that. Kind of guides it a little bit. And then obviously our parts are our acupuncture needle, probably the blue pair of clippers, right? Yeah, blue handle clippers. And then our Allen keys. So it looks like this is a pretty simple setup. Nothing too much to get into. It's not like a Creality Under 3 where you have to build the whole hot end, the whole gantry, everything. As I showed you guys off, the entire gantry is already set up, ready to rock and roll. So basically it's 2, 4, 6, maybe 6? No, I don't even see bolts. Oh, no, wait. Maybe 6 bolts. 7, 8. So 10 bolts total, give or take. We'll see. So let's go ahead and get our user manual out and just do our steps. See what's going on with this. All right, so we have our Allen keys. Gantry frame installation. So this is nice because this is set up like the Ender 3 Max, where instead of placing it directly onto the extrusion rails, they actually have it aligned to the side of the extrusion rails. Now, there is a slight cutout. It's not as much as I'd like it to be, but it's fairly good for what we're going to do, you know, EXP1 when it actually has to go into EXP3 and whatnot. So, let's see. Blank, do you have any experience with the Calent S500 4K? I personally do not. I do have an S400 in the back there that we have to do a review on. So it is on deck to do reviews. But I need to get through all my old backlog of printers. Like I have the Lotmax, I have 2 of the A-nets I gotta do. I have a 2 Auto, which is basically another CR10 A-net looking machine. I have some new printers. I have an ePax E6, an Ender 3. Like I got so many things that I've been working so much and I just haven't had time to do any of this stuff. So I'm going to be like running through a lot of this in the next couple weeks just to catch up so I can relax and actually do proper review videos. But at least unboxings, we're going to be doing like one right after another. So, you know, like tomorrow we'll probably set up the 2 Auto, or I'm sorry, not the 2 Auto, the Lotmax. I think it's an SC10 if I'm not mistaken. And then we also have the big boy, which you guys may or may not be able to see right out of that view. That's that long one, and you might be able to read what it is. It says SR, called Super Racer, which will be my first Delta printer. That one we have set up for this weekend. So, man, you have the most resin printers that I know of. Yeah, I actually have about 20 resin printers. So I don't really do too much with FDM. So usually I just do reviews for the companies. I give them my thoughts, and for the most part, I either like give them away or sell them, because sometimes they give them to me, sometimes I pay a little bit. You know, usually it's like half price or a discounted price at some way, shape, or form. So I usually end up selling them for a very, very low price anyway. So, yeah, I do a lot more resin printing than I do anything else. So that's why, you know, just out of frame here you see the Anycubic Wash and Cure Station Plus. You have the ePax E10. I have a Voxel Lab. I have the Frozen Luna. I have the Creality Hellat Sky. I have like 10 other printers that are over there. So, and I even have another one that I'll be getting. So, but I can't really talk too much about. Yeah, we'll get that one set up here. I think they said it'll be sometime in June. We'll get it, but anyway, onto unboxing and setting this thing up. So, obviously 4 screws. There is a like lock washer, so you want to make sure that you have those on there. So we're going to pre-set these up with the lock washers on here. Or crush washers, not lock washers, sorry. I know some of the automotive guys are probably like, it's a crush washer! It's the same thing you use for your oil. Yes, I know. I'm special. So let's get this bad boy set up. This thing is ginormous. I will say that. That's what she said. So. We got some wires in the way here that I'm not too keen about. Oh, maybe they're supposed to go in front here. So yeah, it's a little bit of a notch. I'd like it to be a lot more, like actually part of the frame, but I guess it's good enough for what it needs to be. And these are insanely long screws too, which again I guess is not bad. Because I'm bad, I'm bad. You know it. This is the exciting things about building printers, is me just chit-chatting about that. So should have done is pull out my automatic screwdriver. Get this stuff in. This is going to take forever to screw these things in because they're like 12 inches long. So, how is everybody else doing? Do a little bit of chat here. While you guys watch me, build a printer. I don't know. I guess that's kind of exciting to some people. If I'm long enough, my UK buddies might pop on here. You never know. Now the fun part, getting this all the way tightened down. So Ah, Jon Snow. You know, I tried getting into that that show, and it caught me for like a season or two, and then I was just like, I don't know, my brain just doesn't care for shows really all that much, to be honest. So it's not like it was a bad show, I'd say. It was just, it didn't pique my interest, which is unfortunate because it seemed like a really cool show. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, he's asking about Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. And don't do what I did with the SV01 and not tighten everything down. You want to make sure that this is all tight before you do anything. Because I'm sitting here wondering why I'm having layer shifting and issues, and I'm like, what's going on? That's because I didn't tighten down the frame all the way. Thought I did, but I didn't. I was jacking it up. Okay. So now we got the base set up. See if there's anybody else on here. Nope, I don't think so, unless it doesn't scroll. Nah, it's not. But we're still live, so. Alright, so next is the filament holder install, as well as the filament sensor install. Which it looks like everything comes pre-assembled with their respected T-nuts, right? I think that's what they are. Shows you how much I know. So we gotta loosen these a little bit. So I basically loosened them, the hammer nuts. I loosened them a little bit just so they go all the way down to the peg area, and then it shows it this way as I drop it. Thankfully, I didn't break the glass. So when I install this, I'm going to leave this a little bit loose. And the reason for that is because I want to have a direct filament path for when I put on the filament sensor. So it's telling me to basically put the filament sensor on there. That is kind of a poor installation because it shows you, hey, put the holder and then the sensor, but it only shows you the holder that it's installing. So, anyway, either way. So we're basically going to do the same thing for this. We're going to loosen this up. Loosey-goosey. Again, we're going to snug them all the way down there. And we're going to put this in the center of here, just so we have it, and your sensor wire should line up with that pretty well. Okay. Now we're going to open up our test roll of filament. Again, it's always nice to get some test filament that actually, you can test with. Way. So now we're going to snug this down. Bring that right about over here. Okay. So now we got that all set up. Let's see who else is chiming in here. Building a printer. Yes, I am, sir. We're building the Sovol SV03. So welcome to the show. Alright, so next up is the LCD screen. And it looks like we do have about 4 screws for this. So is that 12 screws total, I think? So we're supposed to attach the bracket to the display. And that'll set like that. Okay. That's very interesting. Definitely a first for me doing it that way, but all right. And there's the cat. Yeah, come on, yeah. This bracket is not a good design, Sovol. I'm just telling you right now. Is that why they give you so many? So they give you 2 washers. This is not good. These screws should just go in by themselves, no problem. This is no bueno, my friend. And even then, yeah, this doesn't work very well. Let's see here. What's the build size? Did I miss the tacos? You know, I actually haven't had tacos in a while. Yes, blasphemy. The problem is my taco place that I used to go to all the time, they closed down their location and they moved further away. Yes, they moved away from me. So I haven't really been back there. And then to top it all off, you know, I usually go late at night because I usually work like night shifts, and the issue is you know, they're only open till 10 o'clock, so I'm usually not craving tacos at that time. And then the other kicker of it is they changed the cheese on the tacos. Now, I'm not saying that the tacos aren't bad anymore, it's just they are a little bit different. So they're not quite the same. So it is a little bit of a disappointment, I will say that. So, but yeah, for Sovol, you guys are watching. This is not, that's not good. That's, yeah, I shouldn't be seeing that at all. And it's not like I'm missing anything. I got all the washers out of it. All the washers out of that, right? Yep. So, yeah, that's not very good. That right there is already a down for me. So, excuse me. Antonilicos. Yeah, those are pretty good. And howdy, Virgil. Virgil, I'm actually also live on my YouTube channel too. So, wrong one. Yeah, and this bracket plate design, I know already is not gonna sit very well with me. I can tell you that already. Yep. I am not a big fan, my friend. I'm not digging that. That screen bracket. I've been making 3D printing TikToks lately. Seem like a good idea. Good, good. Glad to hear that you're on there. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. I've been working a lot. I actually just recently switched jobs so I can have more free time, which is kind of nice. And then, as you can plainly see, I have tons of printers. I do a lot of 3D printing stuff, so that's basically what I do on the side. Last year I made about $11,000 just printing 2 resin prints. That's it. So that's after everything was all said and done. That's profit. So obviously with that I gave back I want to say about 200 of that to the creator of one of the parts, and then the other one he got a system, and we called it even at that point. So that was all stuff to me. But you know, if they ever reach out and say, hey, I want a little bit of piece, have at it. I'm not really too worried about it. It's just kind of like, it's my taco money. It feeds the belly. But anyway, let's get back on track here. Installation of the Z-axis, limit switches. Okay, so now we're into wiring. So we already plugged in the filament runout sensor. Now we're going to plug in our EXP cables, which are we're going to plug this up, and we got to plug in our hot end and all of our motors and everything. There's one motor. There is 2 motors. And then our hot end that clips into the side here. Okay, so I do see what you were talking about for the cable on the hotbed. That is going to be an issue for sure. I can see that already. Even with the proper strain, it's not properly done. It needs more cabling on it. So I definitely see what you're talking about on that. Okay, so we got our filament runout sensor plugged in. We got our hot end assembly plugged in. We have both of our Z motors plugged in. This is already plugged in. That's already plugged in. So all of our limit switches are plugged in. Got our LCD plugged in. And I think we're ready to rock and roll. The X cable is connected to the motor. Okay, so that's plugged in, that's plugged in, this is all plugged in. Okay. So we are all good. So we're going to fire this bad boy up. Let me just read some comments. Yeah, I've kind of been out of the Pi scene for about 2.5 years now. Basically, since I left RetroPie, I've basically never went back. I did a little bit with the 3D printers. I actually worked for a company, and I did their Octoprint setups and everything. But I didn't really know too much about the systems themselves, so it was kind of pointless for me to do that. And, you know, I just more or less worked on printers and everything else. So, okay, so one thing I will say is we got to check to make sure that our power is selected correctly. There is a power selector on the back here, and it is set to 230, so we're going to set it to 115. All right, we're set to 115. That's one thing I always seem to forget, is that because some printers ship as 115, some printers ship at 230. So, and now for the moment of truth. Do we have power? Yay, we have power. Oh, BL Touch is starting to work. Now let's get our SD card. You can already feel that we got some flat spots on here. It's typical for most of these printers. You gotta be kidding me, right? Ah, I love that. Typical fashion, losing an SD card. We retrieved it though. I'm amazed that I was able to do that. That I definitely am not a big fan of. Okay. So we were able to salvage that. That's good. I am building the Sovol SV03. We also did the unboxing of their filament filament runout. Their filament dryer system, which actually holds 2 spools of filament in it. So right now we got everything set up. We're gonna get this thing ready to rock and roll. We'll feed it some filaments in here. Get it all set up. Whew. All right. So let's go ahead and heat up our stuff. Hold on. First it says filament runout sensor is on. Retract, change filament. Okay, that's all working good. We're going to go to auto home. Is it actually going to work? Unlike a Creality machine. Let's see. It comes with a BL Touch. Yes, it comes with a BL Touch. So, yes, not a 3D Touch. It actually is a BL Touch. So, we'll see if it actually works. I personally am not a big fan of the BL Touch. I know tons of people use it. It's very simple to install. But again, like I said before, I'm kind of more for a local company. It's kind of local now. Actually provided a system called the Easy ABL, and I used to actually wire those for people and get them all set up to use. So are you able to update the firmware on that to anyone you like? If I were to update it, it would be for the TH3D firmware. I know you can get better firmware and everything, but again, I'm more preferable to the TH3D just because there's some little slight tweaks here and there that they make that seem to just make it run a little bit smoother. Yeah, it's more or less meant for their ABL systems. So, yeah. So I used to actually make those. Not like sell them or anything. I actually used to solder them and everything for people. So, okay. So it looks like we're good on the auto homing thing. All right. So now we're going to do a heat up. Let's do some temperature. We're going to do preheat PLA. Because for those of you who do or do not know, with any ABL system, be it BL Touch, proximity sensor, whatever it is, always preheat at least your bed. You don't necessarily need to nozzle, but I just automatically preheat both of them. And the reason for that is, if you guys do or do not know from science and anything else and thought, heats up, it expands and contracts. So when you level on a cool bed, you're not going to get the same readings as you are on hot bed. So you want to do it on a hot. Do you have an OG Xbox? Yes, he does. I recently learned to use Auto Z-Align. It's nice for my printers. That's probably the same thing as baby stepping. Basically, just a hair enough to be good. So yeah, Virgil used to be the Xbox man. Go ahead and actually do a bed leveling test. Right now we just kind of auto-homed it. So for those of you wondering, like, hey, I have an ABL system, why is my nozzle off of the center of the bed? Shouldn't it be on the center? No, the ABL should be on the center of the bed. That's what it should home at. Now there is some files on here we'll probably just end up printing. If they're even on here. Okay, so I'm guessing this is a 40 by 40 bed leveling test, but we'll see. So right now we're at 195 and the bed is just starting to heat up. I forgot it. I should have preheated the bed, dang it. I forgot that preheating PLA is going to do something different. Let's see. If you have two Z motors, it can auto level the gantry before you level the bed. We know each other from Facebook, so you might know me as well if that's the case. I'm in a lot of stuff that Virgil's in, but I'm on every platform to tons. I'm not too much on the OG Xbox. Virgil tried to get me into it, and I was just like, yeah, this is cool, and then I ended I have like a lot of retro gaming systems here. CM3 build, which that's basically a defunct company. I have a VMU that's a miniature RetroPie gaming system with a Pi. And get everything else. You could actually build them to where they have lights. Alright, so we're almost... Well, you can find them. If you're not into 3D printing, well, hey, I can let those ones go. Around here, I end up selling them. So, usually when I give them away, it's like to, one of my son's friends or my daughter steals them or what have you. So, The one that she likes to steal is my my resin printed vase. That you know, is a flexible resin. So that one's kind of cool. It's kind of like a stress. Oh, by the way, going back to YouTube, Blank, you were asking about the Calent S500. And I know I'm going to get a lot of stuff for this, but if you do or do not know about the resin community and how open source works, basically everybody copies each other. Okay? Same thing with Creality and their machines. Everybody copies off that. Everybody copies off ANET, so on and so forth. Same thing with resin. Calent basically made what Elegoo is today. So all the Elegoo products that you see that are resin printers, they're usually a Calent printer before that. Take, for example, the Calent Orbeat or D100. It's basically the Vauxhall Lab Proxima, the Elegoo Mars, and various others. Like, I can't even name them. There's so many out there right now. But that's basically the same thing. So when you ask about the Calent S500 and the S400 models, that's basically the Elegoo Saturn. They are different in a lot of ways, but machine, because they are two different machines because of the boards that are in them. If I'm not mistaken, Calent uses Nano DLP, which is a fantastic board setup. So your sound is cutting out all the time. Oh, you know why? Because I think I unplugged my USB. Dang it. Well, that's awesome. That's great to know. Check. Boom. It might be because we have this set too high. Maybe. Check. That might be a little bit better. Anyway, let's check the TikTok comments. Yeah, so I'm actually on two different platforms. So I'm streaming on YouTube on my computer, and I'm streaming on my phone on the TikToks. So yeah, that's why you guys have different sounds than what these guys are listening to, and that's why you see me like go off camera and then come on the camera, and the same for you guys, go off camera and go on camera. Anyway, we're at our target temperature, so we're going to do a auto leveling system. So we're going to go into the screen, we're going to go to bed leveling, and we're going to go to level the bed. Now we're going to go and just double check everything: feeding filaments, sensor, bed leveling, auto home, bed leveling. So it should level the corners. If not, we'll do level corners, because there might be some leveling that still needs to be done, because it is a BL touch, so it does need some slight of leveling. It's kind of odd that it goes to that side. Usually I'm used to it going to that side. But alright, whatever. As long as it works, we'll be fine. My pile of boxes are getting up there. So hopefully that's better, Matt. So let's go live. Sure, let's go live together. What's up, man? Let me turn this up. Printer. I use my name everywhere. Oh, Steve. Oh, Steve Eugene. Okay. I know who you are. Probe failed. Doesn't surprise me in the slightest, to be honest. 1 of 16, so let's see where this failed, because I wasn't paying attention here. might have to level the corners and then probe. Well, if you know anything about me, I have about 20 resin printers, so I do more resin printing than I do FDM, but I do this for like the manufacturers just to give them my inside information about it, tips, whatever you want to call it. So I wish I can stream on my computer through this. That's one thing I got to do on that printer is the PID calibration, because it is all over the place. My Mingda D3 Pro, I'm pretty sure that's got some major cooling issues. And the only reason I say that is because I went to go and print a round object, and the whole bottom came out like a millimeter inward of it, even with supports. Yes. Looks like we're all good. And it should probe the center, and then we should be good. Bed leveling done. Okay, cool. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to print from media. And let's see. We'll do 4040 V3. So that's a new feature. Okay. I went to go and do live with somebody else, so that's why the lost sound. So that would be great for your nylon or TPU. Absolutely. You know, I'm right there with you, Matt. I've never done a PID tune. I know you can do it very easily through Octoprint, but I personally never done one. So maybe we'll do a video on it and see how it does. Dad's RC Workshop. If you need a printer, I got that printer in the back there. It's Mingda D3 Pro. I'm willing to let it go for about 150 bucks shipped. It's a large style printer. It's about the size of a CR10. Now, will it let me do baby stepping? Z offset. That is way too high. I'm surprised that even stuck to the bed. Let's see. G-Tech, please. I am looking into getting a resin printer. Well, printing. So. Doing a calibration cube? A 40 by 40? Yeah, so if you're looking to get, I'm actually going to be, let me see. Hopefully that'll be better. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me now. So yeah, if you need anything for resin printing, just let me know. I'm actually going to be doing a like one and done resin printing starter kit. It's going to be a resin printer, a wash and cure station, a bottle of resin, maybe a silicone mat, maybe some flex plates. Who knows? So. Yes, for now. I think it's because the cord was being pinched over there. So, but yeah, I haven't decided on when I'm gonna do it. Maybe sometime next month. Maybe in the middle of the month, like middle of June. So, me personally, I'm not a big Elegoo products fan. I had a terrible time with their original Elegoo. I do have an Elegoo Saturn. It seems to be semi-working. I've already had one issue with it, and it's only had maybe 100 hours, if that, on it. No, not even. It's only been like 70 hours. And I had the same issue that everybody else is having with God, I can't even think of the name of it. The module, the power module. I want to call it a power boost, but it's not. But basically, it's powers everything. The MOSFET, Jesus. There we go. So yeah, yeah. Personally, there's some cheaper printers out there for about the same price. Case in point, the Voxel Lab Proxima. That's a really, really good starter printer. It is very similar to the Elegoo. In fact, it's based off of the Callan printers, which the Elegoos are, as I talked a little bit about before here. And, my only major concern with those printers is the bed leveling system that they have is a spring-loaded bed leveling system. Whereas, like, the EPAX E10, the E6, pretty much every other printer except, well, no, even Anycubic has moved away from it. So really, it's only that I'm aware of the Voxel Lab Proxima and the Elegoo Mars printers, and even Saturn, they all still have that spring-loaded system. And it causes a lot of problem because when you go to take off your print, you slide your scraper down on it, and usually you have that on a base or something somewhere so you could get some good grip to get your print off. Well, the problem is with those locking mechanisms that they have is a single or even a dual on the same side or just off of the side of it set screw, where they actually need like a 3-point or even a 4-point. And the problem is they end up slipping. So when you go to do your next print, your bed leveling might be off, and you might be pulling out your hair, wondering, well, my settings didn't change. Nothing changed. What's going on? Why am I losing prints? Why are they sticking to the vat? Well, that might be why, because you might have unleveled your print bed without even knowing it, and even just ever so slightly. I mean, that'll be a catastrophic thing if that happens. So, that's one of the issues that I have with those style printers. Whereas, like I said, the EPAX and pretty much everybody else, the EPAX, the Frozen Sonic Mini 4K, the Anycubic printers, The Creality printers, all those have 4-point leveling systems, so it's 2 and 2. So the chances of that coming undone are very, very unlikely. And even if you're worried about that, just put some like lock washers or crush washers on it, and it'll stop that from slipping. So it'll actually dig into the base plate, so it will never ever come undone. So that's one thing you got to look at. So I was looking at the Elegoo for price, customer service, community, and a mono model. Understandable. That's unfortunately one of the reasons why a lot of people go with Elegoo. I'm not saying that they're bad printers or anything. They just have a lot of QC issues lately. They are a little bit better than what they used to be. Like when the Saturn came out, their QC just went right in the toilet. I don't know what happened with them, but it was real bad. They are a little bit better from what I can tell, but they're still a stone throw away from what they used to be. And that's more or less because they can't keep up with supply and demand, because they made a name for themselves and they can't keep up with that name. Case in point, the Saturn. It's almost impossible to find one of those. So, but yeah, that's basically everybody's go-to is the Elegoo. And that's just more or less because on the flip side, there's the FDM. Everybody goes to Creality because it's a known brand. They might not have great customer service, but everybody knows them. The community is huge for it. And actually, Anycubic has a much larger community than Elegoo. It's just that a lot of people just don't talk about it. It's like one friend tells another friend about Elegoo, and then that's how it all starts. Where, Anycubic doesn't have the greatest customer service. I personally have never had an issue with it, but I know a lot of people that have. But they actually have the better technology because they started all of the LCD printers. So 4 points is the ticket. That's my personal preference. Again, I know some people prefer the spring-loaded system. That's completely up to you. It's something you got to research a little bit. But I will say that you will probably see more failed prints because of that on Elegoo forums, Facebook groups, whatever, than you would like an Anycubic group or an EPAX or anywhere else. So that's usually how that goes. So Anycubic better, Elegoo in that $200 range from the sounds of it. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of the new Anycubic printers. The only one that I would personally go for is the Mono SE, and that's some big bucks. I think that's about $400, so that's a good chunk of change. At that point, I would just go and get something a little bit better, like if you want something that's really, really high quality, let me rephrase that. Not high quality. High quality in terms of print, okay? But it is a cheap model, just like the Elegoo, the Voxel Lab, all the others that are in that sub-$200 range. Go out and get a Sonic Mini 4K. That thing prints really, really nice, and it does have a little bit more detail than most of the printers that are out on the market. So, but personally, like I just bought my buddy out in the Netherlands a starter kit because he wanted to get into resin. So I said, fine, when I get a chance, I'll get you some stuff, and I was going to send him all mine. But I ended up just buying him a whole new setup, and so I bought him a Anycubic wash and cure, a Voxel Lab Proxima, and a bottle of eSun Bio resin because it's lower fume, and it's about the only Chinese resin that I can be okay with right now. Because everything else has had like dried resin in it, and I'm not going to be killing a screen for nothing because somebody's negligence. So I know that sounds kind of prissy about it, but to be in all honesty, I shouldn't be having to filter a brand new bottle of resin. To be in all honesty, so but yeah, that's usually my go-to for like a starter kit. And that's basically what I'm probably going to do for a starter kit when we get everything said and done. For the giveaway is I'll probably do a Voxel Lab Proxima unless there's a new printer out on the market that I might do, because there are a couple that I will be getting, but I don't know if the time framing is going to, basically be in terms of it, when they're going to be released, because they are brand new printers. But we'll see. But yeah, I will definitely be doing an Anycubic wash and cure station, some smaller resin printer if I can get my hands on it, maybe even a medium resin printer for a cheaper price, or if somebody can basically give me one to give away, I'll do that. But yeah, we're basically going to do a starter pack that I just did for my buddy. Like I said, a resin printer, Anycubic wash and cure station, a silicone mat, just so you have a work area, and then a bottle of resin at my choosing. And hopefully we have some people reach out to do that. So let's see here. WeBox is good too. Yeah, I can't really suggest that because they don't really make the 130 anymore, at least not in the hands that you can easily reach it. I will say that I have a WeBox Lite 215 and I have a WeBox Lite 130. The 130 is comparable to your printers nowadays, the smaller ones. I will, even though that's older technology, RGB screen, every single printer that's here, except for maybe the one, the Hellet Sky, I will absolutely take that printer, both of those printers, over all these monochrome. I don't care if they're twice as fast. It doesn't matter. The fact that if I put something on that WeBox and I dial it into, a specific millimeter, it's going to print it just like that. Whereas these, you might have to mess around with it. So, and that doesn't matter in any orientation you put it. So, whereas like a normal resin printer, like take my Creality LD-002H, that's if I orientate it flat, it might be 1 millimeter. If I orientate it on the side with supports, it might come out at 0.5 millimeter. So, some things change. So you really have to play around with some things and settings and whatnot. So I missed out on the Lot Max resin printer at $100 on Amazon, but they don't list it on their website, so maybe I dodged a bullet. Yeah, so the Lot Max is basically it's an Anycubic photon. That's all it is. I don't even think it's a monochrome screen. I think it's an RGB screen, which that's fine. You don't need a monochrome screen. If you're getting into resin printing and you see a printer for less than $100, even if it's got a lot of use on it, that's still pretty much worth it, because even a replacement screen is like $30-40. So, and as long as it works, you're going to get a few prints out of it, and it'll definitely pay for itself after those first couple prints if you're going to be selling stuff. But I mean, you're going to want to replace it anyway, and they do make upgrade kits now for the original photons. So if you happen to find a photon on like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp, whatever it may be, they do offer a upgrade monochrome screen kit for that printer now. So that would be cool to have too. So I have 20 Ender 3s, but I want something bigger and better. I want to try resin 2. So me personally, I'm not a big Ender 3 fan. I absolutely had the worst time getting into 3D printing about three years ago now with an Ender 3. Well, actually, it started off with a ANET. It was rebranded as a... Oh, I can't even remember the name. God, it was that long ago. Anyway, it was a rebranded ANET A6, and it was a disaster. And I had it for maybe all of a week, and I was like, you know what, I couldn't get it to print. So I shipped it away and got an Ender 3, and it would print sometimes, then it would not print, not print, not print. Then it would go back to printing, and it was just like that constantly. No matter how much money I put into it, how many parts I replaced, it would still give me the same result. So I had a bad result with Ender 3s. Switched over to G-Tech A10, which is basically the same thing with some better parts. and I had an amazing time, and I built up a huge relationship with G-Tech at that point. Absolutely love their printers. I had a guy switch his entire fleet of 50 FDM printers, all Ender 3s, and he switched them all over for Amazon return A10 G-Tech printers. And he fixed them all up, and basically that's his print farm. I don't think he's got them anymore. I think he moved more into like half FDM, half resin now. But about 2 years ago now, I made the switch into resin printing, and now I run about 20 resin printers, give or take. I don't run them all at the same time. They're usually like 2 here, 2 there, 3 or 4 at a time, usually at their max. And slowly they're diminishing because I'm moving out my smaller machines for bigger machines. So that number has dwindled a lot. It used to be 20. Now it's more like 15 or 16. So I still got like 4 printers I'm looking to offload at some point. But they're going to get replaced with bigger machines at some point down the road. So, but I love them for their quality, because when I first got into printing, that's the quality I wanted, was resin printing. Well, at the time, an any cubic photon was like $600, and there was no wash and cure station. Nobody really knew anything about it. Everybody had, terrible things to say about it because it was chemicals, and not a lot of information was known about it. So I got into it at a very, very early time, where the Photon S I think was like $600 at that time. I even got the Elegoo Mars was like the newest thing on the market. It was at $280 at the time, and that was on sale, and I bought it because one of my buddy's cousin showed me a print off of it, and I was like, this is what I've been wanting all the time. And so I got into that rabbit hole, and I went deep into it, and I still do FDM stuff, but like I tell everybody, I'm not going to keep these printers around. I'm usually going to give them to a friend or sell them off if I paid for them. So that's kind of how it is. So what's up, Vincent? I was just talking about you. If I run my resin printer in the garage, do I need to worry about family members using the garage while it's running, i.e. fumes? To be in all honesty, this is my basement, bud. I have 20 resin printers down here. Again, I only run maybe 2, 3, 4 at the max at a time. And what I do is I have a tower filter fan that basically filters out everything. So, oh, hi Sovol, how's it going? We're doing the unboxing of your SV03, and we also did our unboxing of the fancy filament dryer. I like it already. So we got this set up. It's already going. So so far so good. Haven't had any issues. I needed to tweak the offset a little bit, but that's about it. Once we got that rolling, we're good. We're also live on TikTok as well, showing all the TikTok people the printer. So let's see here. What did he do with the old ones? I'm not sure who you're talking about. Need to get rid of some of those printers. I do need to unload some of these printers. These are ones that I bought. They're all Amazon returns. Some of them look like they haven't even been, opened up really, or they were opened and just, oh my god, this is what I got to deal with, and closed up and sent on their way. So, but there are definitely some that I'm a little iffy on what they're going to be. Because one of them says that it's a chair, so that'll be interesting to see. Let's see. What are you talking about? I was telling everybody about how I bought basically a starter kit that I'm probably going to do as a giveaway. That same exact kit for resin printing. So looks good. Glad to see the live. Good to hear. Yeah, we'll test this out for a week. And we'll come back around and do an actual review of it, and I'll get that to you guys when we do that. But it'll be sitting printing away. The wife has already suggested a couple prints to to set on here. I have one print for my son. You guys from TikTok might have seen the video where he designed something. He designed it with me basically at the helm designing it, but he threw the ideas. I let him do some things, and basically I put it together for him. And yeah, it's a little like round guy with a face on it. It's a very simple object, but basically we're gonna print that up next once this is done, and yeah, we'll get that out there and show that off to the people of the world. So. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's awesome. Starters kit. Yes. Yeah, so basically what I was talking about earlier is that I wanted to do a resin printer giveaway with a wash and cure station to basically have somebody who's not who wants to get into resin printing but is not sure what they want to get. I want to get them a starter kit to say, hey, this is everything that if I had to go back at the beginning and I had what's out there now, this is what I would have. I have an Anycubic wash and cure station back there already, so that's already ready to go. I do have a resin printer. I guess I could give a used resin printer away, but it does need a screen, so we'll have to see about that. Really, I'll probably just end up doing a poll about it and see if somebody wants a brand new kit or they are okay with having a half used, half new type thing. You know, we'll have to see. But either way, I gotta move some of these printers out of here because this is getting insane. My basement is being taken up. So, could you please show the filament dryer in details? Yeah, it's actually on right now, but let me see what it says here. So when we first set this up, the filament dryer was at 50% humidity. Now we are down to 24% humidity. And I don't remember what the amount of Celsius was, but I'm sure it was less. So, Matt, I have your print. It is ready to rock and roll this week, okay? I'm trying to shoot for Wednesday to set it up because I need to get stuff moving because it's just like I have so many things going on and I have so much backlogs of printer. Like, Sovol sent me this a long time ago, and I absolutely apologize, Sovol, for not getting this done sooner. But I've had this printer for probably like 2 or 3 months. I'm not even joking. And I'm just getting to it now. So they just sent me their filament dryer about a week or two ago, I want to say. So the humidity is the humidity of the dryer box. Yeah. So we actually cut the humidity back down in half. So yeah. So, but we're on it now. We're gonna get it out there and get it all set up. But as of right now, I'm absolutely happy with this dryer box. It's leaps and bounds over the Sunlu one that I have, which is right below here. First off, because it holds 2 filaments on it, unlike a single one. It's not as wide or as long as the Sunlu one. And it just seems to be working a little bit better than my Sunlu one. So already I kind of like this a lot. So if you guys are looking for good filament dryers, this one holds 2 spools. So I know those guys in TikTok land, they can't really see it because they're off camera. So the dryer box is nice. You can put 2 filaments in. Yeah, and I do have links for the AliExpress store. I don't have an affiliate with AliExpress, but you guys can go ahead and click on the links in the description of this video. And I'll provide those links when we do the actual review as well. Hopefully at that point we'll have an actual affiliate link for Amazon or something. We'll have to see. So let's see. That dryer box is nice. It can hold 2 rolls of 70mm filament. Yeah, so I did notice that this filament is a little bit bigger than the one that I have on there. So, but there's definitely some room. So that's really, really nice that it holds a good sizable filament, like the longer ones, so, or the thicker ones, or a roll of 150 millimeter filament. Yeah, so I'm actually curious. So you can do 2 rolls of filament, or can you do a 5 kilogram roll in here? Or is that too big? That might be too big. Might be, the circumference might be too big for it. So, but you said 150 millimeter roll of filament, so that might be a 5 kilogram. They work for my normal roll of nylon and my small roll of TPU. Yeah, so that's really where this is going to shine. It's not. You can use it for PLA, but it's not going to be like something that you should use for PLA. PLA you should just have packaged up, and really you should be using PLA constantly. Again, it goes back to TPU, nylon, polycarbonate, like the really higher end filaments. That's really where this box shines at, is making sure that everything is good on there. So, but so far, I mean, we're pretty good. We have, I think I set it for 12 hours. So right now we're at 10 and or 1.5 hours in or whatever. So, but we're at 46C and 24% humidity, which is half of what we started at. So when we started, it was at 50%. So that's already half of that. That's amazing. Like, that's far superior. Like, in order for me to get to that level, I would have had to run that Sunlu for 24, maybe even 48 hours. So already that's really, really nice. So again, it is a little bit more bulkier than the Sunlu, but it is also slimmer than the Sunlu. So it's not really meant for like a top mounts. Like, I know I see a lot of people do that with the Sunlus. Yeah, obviously you really shouldn't be doing that, but the other cool thing is they have these holes at top here, so you can go ahead and pull the filament through. I wish there was some in the front here, but you know, we can just kind of modify that a little bit if we absolutely need it. But it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Because I'll be honest, like, if I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna use this with this like sitting over here. So the, you know, if I'm using a Bowden system, it's just gonna go right into here. So to have 2 nozzles out the front here would be better. So for Sovol that's watching, if you're gonna do any type of iteration to this, that's one thing that I would at least add, is 2 filament holes in the front there. Keep the ones on top. You can go ahead and do that because people like to have that ability to have it going up through the top, but also have it through the front there. So. Oh, and the other thing is the rollers on this are far superior to my Sunlu one. They actually roll. Whereas the Sunlu one is kind of, you know, maybe it'll roll. You never know. So, but yeah, we're going to let this print and see how it goes. Can we save this? I think so. Store settings. So we do have a Meanwell in here, a Bramps 1.3. So does that mean that you guys swapped out the Crapality boards? And did you guys put a better board in here? Or am I just going crazy? So it runs Marlin 2.0 on this, by the way. So I am printing the cube. I'm printing the 4040 cube. And the only reason why I did this print, because I wasn't sure how big the other print was. And like I said, I got some other stuff I'm going to set up here, and I didn't want this live stream to go for too long. So, so yeah, because I I also got to get to bed. Jeez, it's already 12 o'clock. So we're gonna pretty much let this print for a little bit, and then I'll probably cut the live stream here. We'll probably cut it in about 20 minutes because that'll put me right at about 2 hours for a live stream. So yeah, you guys won't get to see the completed cube, but we'll definitely get a good portion of it done. So far, it's feeling good. So it looks like it's got some layer lines on it, but I think that's just the filament itself. Because I'll be honest, it's a test filament. It's not going to be the greatest. So, but that's what it just looks like. It's got layer lines on it. So I was like a little concerned with it, but I ran my finger across it and it's smooth. So so it's printing beautifully. Like I said, we did have to do the Z offset adjust a little bit, but once we did that, it's printing. So the bottom of this might not look that pretty, but the cube itself should be pretty good. But so far, this is basically like, for anybody looking for bigger printers, this is a really nice printer. One thing, it's direct drive, so that means you can use TPU with it, flexible material. So that's one plus over like a CR10. It's got a filament runout sensor, which only the CR10S has in terms of like pricing range. You know, this one's got a BL Touch, so it's kind of hard to weight that into other printers because of all of what it provides with you for your printing purposes. So but yeah, you know what, let's look. I didn't really even look at the sizing on this. Let's just take a quick gander on it. Amazon, let's go to SV03. I want to say this is on par with a whatchamacallit, okay, so it's actually a little bit bigger than a CR10. So a CR10 is basically 300, 300, 300. Then the next one would be the S4. That's 400, 400, 400. This is kind of right in the middle there. It's another oddball one. So as most of you guys may or may not have seen my review and unboxing of the SV01, it's basically a CR10 mini that Sovol put on some of their goodies to make it that much better. And it was a great printer. I absolutely loved it. I sent it off to one of my buddies, and he swapped out the extruder for something that is a little less plastic. And basically, he loves the machine. And same thing with this. Like, this machine right now is going for $449 on Amazon. For that price range, you're right in the CR10 range. So you really have to pick and choose what you're looking for. But in terms of like build volume, this is 350, 350, 400. So it is a larger than like a CR10S. And that's usually my one that I tell everybody, hey, if you're going to get a brand new printer and you want a larger printer, go with the CR10S because it has, you know, filament runout sensor and dual Z. You know, and that puts you in a good price range for someone who's making helmets. Where this is a really, really big printer. This is, yeah, like I said, 350, 350. It's silent board, so it's got TMC 2208s on it. So it's very, very silent. You more or less just hear the fans on it. And you can go ahead and replace the fan on the board there with like a Noctua fan or something that's just as quiet, and that'll be good. I don't suggest putting a Noctua on here even though it is a, I believe this is a V6 or a V5 type hot end, that is a good hot end for the Noctuas. You don't want to put that like on a stock reality board or a hot end, because it just doesn't flow correctly. It'll work, but you'll end up killing the hot end over a short period of time. So, but yeah, so this is really, really nice for what you get. So let's just think about in terms of what is comparable to it. So we'll go to Creality CR10. Okay, so a CR10 basically starts at 369, and again, that's 300, 300, 300. The CR10 V3 is 300, 300, 400, so you're still 350, 350, so you're still above that. So you can't even really compare the CR10s to it. And even with the price range, like, that's, you can't get into the price range. Because the other thing that's different about, like, even the older CR10s, this is all enclosed. With the older CR10s, you actually have a giant box that sits next to it. Again, some people prefer that, some people don't. I prefer the all-in-one look. So yeah, really, in terms of like the best competitor for this would be the CR10, and it just has better stuff. So CR10 is 300, 300, 400 at most part, and this is 350, 350, 400. It's got a BL touch already on it, and it's got a filament runout sensor. So those are, you know, a couple things that are just already over it. So in terms of, you know, looking for a better bang for your buck, this would definitely be it. So some people ask for recommendations for large printers in your group. Some people recommend SV03. Yeah, you know, this is my first time using it and first time seeing it. I didn't expect it to be this big, but I will definitely be supporting this over a CR10 just for what it comes with. Because as long as the BL Touch remains working, that's already a plus for me. Because as I've stated earlier in this stream, I'm personally not a big fan of the BL Touch. I like proximity sensors. And one of the reasons is, you know, replacing these little nubs here on the BL Touch shouldn't be needed. But hey, that's a design flaw that they purposely did just to, you know, keep. I personally like the proximity sensors. As long as it works, I'm fine with it. Leave it be. No need to touch something that works. So yeah, let's look at CR10. Let's look at the CR. Okay. So at its cheapest, the CR10S is $399. And this is the original CR10S, mind you. Okay. So you could actually get it for $350 with a coupon. Now, that is the only thing that's closely comparable to this. But again, this has auto bed leveling on it. So that's already a step up. Now granted, auto bed leveling is not that much expensive, but it's already done for you. Then you have a silent board. That's another, you know, $40. So with the little added stuff, that's why it's $450 right now. Now there is a coupon for the Sovol SV03. What was it? $20, $30 off. So it's actually $410. So it's a little over $400. Whereas the CR10S, again, that's the most comparable printer to it. That would be a good printer, I should say. It's $350 right now. So if you took that $60 extra, yeah, you could add the same. You could add similar stuff, but you'd have to do all the stuff for yourself. So if you're not looking to do all that DIY stuff, and just have something ready to go out of the box and done well, in my opinion, there you go. Sovol SV03, one and done. So the CR10, there's various models. So there's the CR10s, there's the CR10S. Those are the older models with the box on the outside. Okay, then you have like the CR10S Pro. Those are what would be actually kind of like this, but those are way higher, or maybe around the same price range. But they have intermittent issues with like the bed leveling and everything. So yeah, I cut out again. Awesome. Looks like I'm gonna have to get a new setup here for maybe my microphone's dying. Maybe I need to buy a new one. I mean, it is a cheap, $20 microphone, so I'm not expecting much out of it after 2 years of use. So but yeah, I would definitely recommend this for sure. So it looks like we're gonna stick around for about another 8 minutes or so, and then we're gonna call it quits. So. We're gonna bump that up. It's at 195, and now it's starting to look a little strange. So I think it's a little low for that filament. So I bumped it up to 210. That's usually like my sweet spot for printing PLA in general. Obviously, just like resin, with exposure settings, with every single roll of filament, do a temp tower. That's another thing I've never actually done. So that's something I got to look into and actually do and get it tested out. So we'll see how it goes. Whew, those are some thin walls. And so it looks like at least the PID tuning. I know I've seen some people doing that earlier, at least on the Tiki Taks. That the PID tune is within a degree. So it overshot by 211, and then it went back down to 209. So we're right on the money there. So. All right. 6 minutes. Well, 5 minutes actually. I don't think we're gonna finish. We're at 53%, so we're definitely not gonna finish. And I'm starting to get tired. I got work early in the morning. I gotta be up at 5 o'clock, so I gotta be up in like 5 hours. So yeah, it's gonna be fun getting up. Yay, yay. Oh, sheesh. But yeah, so as of and the filament dryer, not bad. Interesting design on the filament runout sensor with the 2 rollers on it. Just kind of strange. It's not really needed, to be honest, but it's just interesting to see it. I would think it would be better to actually have the filament runout sensor down here and these guides the opposite way. So flip this around. That would be cool to see, because that's kind of cool. But I mean, it's not needed. Hey, so but that's just my 2 cents, Sovol. Other than that, there's not really much to say. It's a nice printer. It's a very good printer for the price, in my opinion, just right off the bat. Just looking, I mean, anybody can do research about the Creality CR10. That's your golden standard for large size printers, and it has been my go-to for telling people like, hey, you want a large size printer, go for the Creality CR10. But with this being on here, that's even a better buy in my opinion. Obviously, if somebody's still crushed for budget saving, then yeah, they still can go for the CR10. But if you want something that's like a one and done, like you're ready to rock and roll, you don't ever have to level, don't have to deal with any of that stuff, boom, here's your printer right here. Because it's a little bit larger build volume, and it's done. And it's got direct drive. How many printers can you say have direct drive that are this size in this price range? Zero that I'm aware of. Zero that are good. Let's just keep it at that one. So, because I guarantee you're going to be hitting $500 range if you are going to be getting a direct drive printer that has a filament runout sensor and a glass bed and a silent board and things like that. So little things add up here and there. So, but yeah, it's a very, very nice printer. It's basically a bigger version of the SV01, which I absolutely enjoyed. I loved the SV01. It was a great printer. I couldn't even tell you how many things I printed. I printed tons of these for my work. Tons of these ear savers when it was, at its most important time. Like, that was a big, big thing when I got that printer. So, it was nice to have it there. So, as for the filament dryer box, I like it. It's a lot better than my Sunlu one. We'll have to see, in the long run, if it works out better or just as good as the Sunlu. But as of right now, I already like that it has the humidity on it, the humidity gauge. I like that a lot. So that's a plus already. It is a lot easier and straightforward than the Sunlu, whereas the Sunlu, you kind of like, I don't understand what this means. Why am I pressing this button? Where is it going to me? So, yeah, that's one big thing that's good about this is it's much more straightforward and easy, where you're not trying to figure out what is what. So, and it actually works. Like that Sunlu one kind of works sometimes. I left it on 24 hours and it looked like it didn't even do anything for the filament that I had in there. Mine might just be a dud. I don't know. But, this is really, really nice, especially for those who are looking to dry more than one filament at a time. That's really, really nice to have. So, and for the price, it's cheaper than the Sunlu. Cheaper! You can't beat it. That's a good deal. So, that's my 2 cents on the whole thing. So, again, we'll test out everything and get it all set up for, a week later we'll do an actual review and, just go put it through its paces and see how it does. But as of right now, I'm happy with the results of this printer. It's really, really nice. So, I see that they used some blue coloring when they were doing the testing for it, but, yeah, so far so good. We have no major issues on it. Belts are good. Everything's set up very good. Very, very easily assembled. Again, that's another thing to add on to the CR10. If I'm not mistaken, the CR10 is the same thing as like an Ender 3 where you have to assemble the whole gantry and everything, and that's a whole other nightmare for a lot of people. Whereas this is set it down, 4 screws. Sovol, since you're here, one thing I will say that I'm kind of irritated about. This moves. The screws that you guys sent are too long, and you didn't send enough washers. So I have 2 washers on there, on each screw, and they're both loosey-goosey. So, not the end of the world, but for some people, they're just going to be, like, nitpicky about that. So that might be something to either look into a different design for that, or go a different route for mounting it. So that's just my 2 cents on it. But other than that, that's really my only major gripe with this printer at this moment. I'm sure I'll find some more things that I'll nitpick about, but yeah, as of right now, just that is annoying. So, if you guys are still watching, that's my only gripe about it. So, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them down below on the YouTube channel, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And like I said, we'll come back around about a week later and do an actual review of the printer and see how I've liked it, see if anything's changed with it, if it's still printing, if I destroyed it, whatever it may be. And we'll be back here maybe tomorrow, if not Wednesday. We'll have to see how things go because I'm going to be pretty tired tomorrow. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm going to leave that at. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your nights. And until next time, happy printing.